Thank you for tuning in to Think Tech. I'm your host, Attila Seress, for our series Next Big Thing. This week, we're looking at a very interesting organization here in Honolulu, and they are called the Omidyar Fellows. Joining us today is Kalei Stern. She's the director there at the organization. Thank you so much for coming and coming on Next Big Thing here in Honolulu, and happy Friday.
Yes, happy Aloha Friday.
It's, do you have any plans for the weekend?
A few pretty good fun plans. First, talk about Omidyar Fellows. It's always fun.
That's always fun.
Great.
I hope they relate to Omidyar Fellows, because it seems like you guys are doing really good work.
Thanks.
So tell me, what is Omidyar Fellows, other than having a wonderful brochure?
Thank you.
It seems like you guys are really changing the landscape of Hawaii's future by sort of injecting effort into helping to develop people who are on a trajectory to make a real difference.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Attila. We're hoping to really influence the future of leadership in Hawaii. Our program, the Omidyar Fellows, is a leadership development program aimed at emerging leaders in business, nonprofit, government, labor union sectors. So we're looking across Hawaii for these emerging leaders that are interested in getting skills, tools, and resources for their leadership development.
And so how are you helping them become better leaders?
We provide a pretty set curriculum. The program is 15 months long, and we're really looking to help support their leadership skills. Each month we bring them in and we do things like team building, leadership development. The first couple months of the program, it's all about the person, the individual. So we look at you as a leader, a lot of introspection and reflection about your own personal leadership style. The second phase of the program is about you as a leader in your company or of your team or your department. And then the last part, the last phase, is looking at you as a leader in the community. So that's kind of the arc of leadership development.
So looking at you as an individual, looking at you to see on the trajectory that you're on, and then where you're going to be in the future. Now, I'm guessing you've had, this has been around for a while. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Omidyar? That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
Pierre Omidyar is on our board of directors, and he's our founder of the program. He's put together a board of about 5 people, very great leaders here in Hawaii that are in charge of our program. And they're really looking for the next generation of leaders to really help lead the state in new and innovative ways.
But Omidyar, that's a famous name. What's his background?
Pierre is probably best known for starting the company eBay.
Oh, the small company.
the company eBay a few years ago, and now he's here in Hawaii. He's he's a great philanthropist, not just for the state, but also for a lot of efforts and initiatives he's doing, not just nationwide, but also globally. So he's a great leader and someone who we really look up to and are inspired by.
Now, now that you mentioned his background, I kind of remember seeing a 2020 episode where something about where the great leaders of our society were giving away a good portion of their wealth, and I believe he was there.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is obviously there, and Rupert Murdoch, I think, was there too.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky that we are one of the initiatives that he started, and he's funded us, in addition to our as a board member with the other 4 members of our board. And I think our board would really say that this effort and for leadership is really looking for leaders that can lead here in Hawaii in the next, I would say, 20 to 30 years. So really looking at homegrown leadership and giving them the skills and tools and ensuring them to be able to take on some of the challenges here in Hawaii in the future.
And so how many people are in this program now? It sounds kind of like Hogwarts. Like you're selected to come, and you get this magical place in Hawaii with an ocean view.
The first cohort we had 13 in the first cohort of fellows. The second cohort, which just started in September 2013, we have 15 fellows. So this cohort right now, they're almost at the midpoint. They've gone through that first phase, kind of that introspection phase. They're in the next phase right right now looking at team building, coaching skills for leaders, looking at how to manage across the organization, up and down in the organization. So we're just almost ready for midpoint, and that group of 15, they're wonderful, great people, emerging leaders here in Hawaii. 3 different islands represented. We have some people from Kauai and 1 from Maui. So pretty neat because we're doing some statewide recruitment coming up.
And how do you find these people?
Our application is available. It will be available online. We're out there looking for those that are passionate about leadership, that see themselves taking on a higher level of leadership and have that ability to really do some introspection about their own leadership style, and they want to gain more skills and networks to help lead their department or their company, and then also really looking at the impact of their leadership in the community. We're always looking for leadership for what, and really ultimately it's how can you help better your community, whether it's local or statewide.
And so these leaders that you've selected, can you tell me a little bit about them, or maybe some of the other leaders that have gone through the program?
Great. Yeah, the first cohort, we invited 13 people in the program, and they were from, there are a couple from Big Island, from Hawaii Island, 1 from Kauai, and also here on Oahu. They were representing the government sector, the business sector, nonprofit, and labor union sector. They're great emerging leaders. About in their, I'd say, mid-career level. They're directors, some of them executive directors, and on their way to taking on high levels of leadership in their company.
And so what happened after they went through your program?
Yeah, we actually say Omidyar Fellows for life. So they've gone through the program. They went through their commencement exercise in November 2013. And now they're actually taking on their collaborative solutions project. It's one of the elements in the program is really looking at what the fellows can do either in small groups or in large groups to be able to take on issues in the community. So the first group, the first cohort of fellows, starting in November 2013, started doing their collaborative solutions project. And they're looking at big issues here in the community and seeing how some of those issues, whether they're divisive or there's sometimes issues are polarizing, so there's people on very, very extreme opposite sides of an issue. They're looking at leaders from both sides and really seeing how grassroots leadership is starting to emerge around certain issues like GMO or same-sex marriage. So it's an interesting project that they've taken on.
And so they take on these projects in hopes of making change, right? So that's why they become a lifelong fellow.
Right.
And how long do you guys are you going to continue to do this program?
We're right now we're looking at, we've got 2 cohorts under our belt. We're going to be recruiting for the third set, the third cohort. We're looking at least 10 years down the line and really seeing the number of people that are coming through and that are affected by the Omidyar Fellows. We're really hoping for impactful community change and leadership.
And it sounds to me like you're starting to get it now.
Yeah.
How about some stories? But you know what? I'm going to hold that thought because we do have to run to a quick break.
Okay.
So those of you watching, thanks for watching Next Big Thing. I'm your host, Attila Seress, here with Kalei Stern. We're talking about the Omidyar Fellows Group here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Castle and Cook, Hawaii. Investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state. Collateral Analytics, empowering the real estate industry to make better informed property investment decisions. The Foreign Trade Zone, bringing the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone programs to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. Galen Ho, a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company. Hawaiian Electric Company, and its affiliates Maui Electric and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island. The Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, incorporating diverse perspectives to design a flexible and forward-looking energy strategy. Hawaii Energy, the state's energy and efficiency program created to help Hawaii's residents and businesses adopt a clean energy lifestyle. Hawaii Gas, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future. Hawaii Pacific Health, bringing technology and teamwork together to transform healthcare in Hawaii. The High Tech Development Corporation, attached to DBED, is the state's leading technology agency. The Scheidler Family Foundation, supporting educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including
We're back. We're live and you're watching Think Tech. I'm your host, Attila Seress, and our series Next Big Thing, we look for people who are doing great things and give them a place to share it with the world. Today we have Omidyar Fellows. They're a small what's the best way to put it? Like a group here on Oahu.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization.
Nonprofit organization that's trying to make a difference in Hawaii's future. And of course, with us is Kalei Stern. And this group, it seems to me a little bit like a small, very concentrated way to really make a difference in certain people's lives who are really going to make a bigger difference in all of our lives later on. So can you tell me any stories maybe about some of the people that have gone through the program and what has been the result and what their experiences were like?
Sure, right. One of the elements of the program is called the Learning Excursion, and it's an individual excursion depending on what the fellow wants to learn. So one of our fellows last year in cohort 1 really wanted to be a more empathetic leader. I think he has all the cognitive skills and is really good about finance and accounting, and he really felt like he needed to be more empathetic and get kind of on the ground level of his organization. And he chose to go to Vietnam and study with two non-governmental organizations in Vietnam. One was working on human trafficking issues, and the other was an orphanage for kids in Vietnam. And he went there and got to stay and meet with a lot of the families, and I think that impacted him so much. It really transformed his perspective, and I think he would say come back a changed man, and really understands from the grassroots level what some of the families and kids were going through. So that's one example of a learning excursion that really, it wasn't about learning accounting or finance, but this one was really, it touched his heart because he was really looking for that empathetic experience. Another one of our fellows last year really felt that she wanted to learn negotiation skills. She was great at grassroots collaborating with different community groups, but felt that she needed more oomph in negotiation and conflict resolution. So she went off to Harvard's negotiation class, and came back and said that she learned so much, not just about her professional relationships and how she can kind of better negotiate professionally, but how to really look at her other familial relationships and really get down to the point of hearing, listening, and understanding the other side, right? The perspective of the person that you're talking to. So she was able to come back from that trip and really think it not only affected her professionally, but really helped enhance her personal relationships.
And so these things that they don't know that they need, do you help them? Do you help them decide, or do you just say you're getting on a trip to Cambodia?
Yeah.
You're going to be a more empathetic person when you get back.
In some cases, we help to decide, and we just decided this is where you should go. Other cases, they really thought through what the learning was that they wanted. What would make them a more, a better, a more well-rounded leader. So for some of them, they understood and they got it pretty quickly, and others, we told them what we think they should do. It was a great process, though. Even just that dance and that negotiation between us and the fellow that's a learning process in and of itself. I think some of the fellows, they worked really well with their executive coaches. Each one of the fellows gets an executive coach. So the coach might see something in them and say, you're really good at this, but I think if you just worked on this other part, you'd be a more effective leader. So between the staff of the program, the executive coaches, and I'm sure the supervisors or their sponsors at their company, taking the perspectives from all those people. I think that's how the fellows got to choose where they were going or what they needed to learn for their learning excursion, and then where they were actually going to do that.
Well, it sounds to me like there's no other program really in Hawaii that's doing this.
Yeah, I think we're pretty unique. I think our curriculum is it's a great opportunity for leadership development, and I think we're meeting some of the needs of business and nonprofit and government. Our curriculum is unique too in that we're taking people from different sectors and bringing them together to learn it's not necessarily a social thing, but really when you get down to it and you're learning together and you're opening up, maybe strengths and weaknesses or challenges, I think that creates a bond of trust among the fellows. And I think that learning opportunity through the 15 months of the program, I think that's what's unique about this program.
15 months is a long time.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
the time commitment like?
It's about 16 hours a month. We bring the fellows together for 1 day a month and an evening session. And there's some reading, and the course materials are all on our website. So if people wanted to see what the curriculum looks like or what we're studying in each month, that's on our website. So the time commitment, I think, is it's like other things. You get out of it what you put into it. So you can put in 16 hours a month, or you can put in 20 and do a little more and see what you can get out of that.
Well, I think most of us spend more than 20 hours a month just in traffic.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true.
That's quite a minimal time commitment
Yeah.
for what you get out of it.
I think so.
And so now you said you've gone through 2 cohorts.
Yes.
And these people have gone to Cambodia. They've gone
One
to
of them.
one of them
One
went
of
to
them, yes.
Cambodia. One
Yes.
went to Harvard.
Yes.
Where else did they go?
There were a few others that went internationally. About half of the group went international. The other half went to the mainland United States. It really depended on what they wanted to learn. So we didn't emphasize location. We really emphasized what. What is it?
So what
that
did they
you want to
learn?
learn? There were people that learned how to be better leaders in the sense, I think some of them were reluctant. They were working their way up perhaps a corporate ladder, and then once they got there, they were kind of unsure. Is this right for me? Can I really do this?
Self-affirmation.
Yes,
I see.
yeah. So one of them went to Silicon Valley and really talked to CEOs around in tech companies around Silicon Valley, and worked with the American Leadership Forum and met some of the CEOs that perhaps were in that space, were a little reluctant to take on the reins of a big tech company. So one of our fellows was able to speak with others who were in his shoes, perhaps a couple years before. So I think a lot of them learned confidence. They learned some skills like conflict resolution and negotiation, how to think on your feet, how to have a leader's voice and persona, how to really tell your story and your narrative. So those are the things that I think you may not think that that's what you need when you enter the program, but through the reading and the collaboration and working with your fellows and your executive coach and the staff, I think some of those ideas bubble up, and then you realize, I could really use some voice coaching, or I could learn how to think on my feet better, or I could learn how to not have to plan everything and go with the flow. So that's what I think some of them came back with.
How would you learn that? To go with the flow and not have to plan everything?
Improv training?
It's like improv. Like comedy?
Perhaps, yeah, comedy or improv. We could
Really?
I think there are people that go through training programs. Some of them related to design thinking. I think how do you design certain things on the fly? And I think some of those skills or tools and resources you're going to have to pull out from your own brain really help you to think on your feet the next time a problem arises.
And so, what do you get out of running such a program?
Oh, it's great. It's the best job. I get to see people come in the program who are really energetic, passionate about leadership, great at where they are, and they see what needs the community has and how they can help to fulfill that through their own leadership. And then for me, I get to learn right alongside with them. So it's exciting. It's a great job.
So in some ways, you get to pick up some improv training and maybe a little bit of Harvard.
Done that yet. No, haven't done those yet, but I get to hear what their experiences are when they come back. Everyone does their learning excursions in the summer months. So the month that they come back, they don't see each other really for a couple months, and they get back in August, and it's a great kind of little reunion, and people are really happy to see each other and share what they've learned with the group. And that's an exciting time.
Now, is this the only Omidyar Fellows group, the one in Hawaii, or are there
Yes.
others?
Yeah, right now we're the only Omidyar Fellows group, and I'm not sure about future plans for the Omidyar Fellows in general, but for Omidyar Fellows Hawaii, we're recruiting for our next cohort, actually. So the deadline's coming up, and we'll be doing some neighbor island recruitment in the next couple months, April and May.
Is there a reason that Hawaii was chosen? Because obviously
Yes.
he's a big tech guy. He's got lots of funds
Yeah.
available and resources.
Yeah.
Why did he choose Hawaii versus any other place?
Yeah, Hawaii, I think, is a place where we already have an established level of collegiality. People understand each other and think they're more apt to work with each other here in Hawaii. I think it's due to our small island states. And in Hawaii, because people know each other pretty well, I think there's a level of I want to work with you. I'd love to work with that person. So when the Omidyar Fellows was established, that was one of the things that we knew going in. There was already this a standard of collegiality and collaboration. So working from that, I think we use that as a foundation and as an asset for the program.
Plus, if it works here, who knows where else it could work?
That's true, right? We had, you could do this in different states and using the culture and the context of that state. And the pillars of the leadership program, the curriculum that we put together, those are they're wonderful. I call them pillars because I think they're very important for the foundation of leadership, and they kind of work with that arc that I spoke about, looking at yourself as a leader, you as a leader of a company or a team, and then you really ultimately as the leader in the community. And I think if you go through those phases of exploration and reflection and introspection, I think you come out of that a much better, more prepared leader for the complex changes in the future.
Well, why don't you tell our listeners, before we run out of time, where they can go for more information and how they can contact you and maybe get some more info about the program?
Absolutely. Our website is omidyarfellows.org, and it's my email address is kaleistern@omidyarfellows.org.
Kalei. Stern, yes.
Stern, yes.
Omidyar Fellows. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show and for sharing your vision for the future of Hawaii, and good work.
Great, thank you.
I look forward to hearing more about improv classes and all kinds of other things that make people amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you for working hard.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Think Tech. We'll be back with more Think Tech, and of course, be sure to tune in every Friday for more of Next Big Thing. I'm your host, Attila Seress. Aloha.